Well, good afternoon. Yes, as you can see, I'm sat in Pat, my van. She's back after 10 days off the road and in the garage. And is she fixed? Is she bollocks? No, she is not. She's got one of the issues fixed. Unfortunately, it's not the one that I wanted fixing the most. The limp mode. The limp mode is still in full effect. Well, it's still intermittent like it has been. Still kicks in whenever it feels like it. But our coolant issue, our EGR problems, they are fixed. So, as you know, this is my 2018 Volkswagen Crafter Luton box that I've named Pat. Big Pat to be exact. And this van has been a bit of a nightmare since I bought it. It's had its issues. But its main issue is it keeps going into limp mode. And its secondary issue was that it had a coolant lock, an airlock in the coolant system, and the coolant wasn't running freely, and it was something wasn't right. So the coolant lock and airlock was down to the EGR. So the EGR was blocked, the pumps had failed, and the cooler needed replacing, basically. We actually sent it off first of all to be cleaned, and they couldn't clean it. It was too badly blocked. So we had to order a new one. So my mechanic ordered an aftermarket part, and it didn't arrive with a core, it was just shell. So he sent it back and ordered one from the manufacturer, so a Volkswagen part. And that came and it was fitted yesterday evening. So that issue is now solved. We've got a brand new EGR, cooler, pumps and everything, and the EGR is working as it should. Issue number 2 is what seems to be a turbo issue. Now, from reading up on these vans, myself and my mechanic, they have a number of potential issues with the turbo. The actuator being one, which is the code that is coming up. It is coming up for the actuator. And a vacuum being 2. So the vacuum actually opens and closes the actuator when you need it, boost pressure, etc. So Volkswagen and parts suppliers don't sell actuators. If you need a new actuator for your turbo, you have to order a full turbo, and if you order that from a manufacturer, it comes with the entire manifold and everything. It's not even just a turbo, it's everything, and it's quite expensive. And then the labour to take it off and put a new one on is quite expensive, and in total it comes to like £2,500 to replace it. And it's not something that I want to spend £2,500 on. I've just spent £1,100 odd anyway, having the EGR replaced and fixed, etc., including labour and VAT. So I don't want to spend another £2,500. I've already spent a lot of money on this van. It's had other issues along the way, so I don't want to spend any more money on it really. So it'd already been off the road for 10 days. I'm not earning money over them 10 days. I'm earning a little bit from the jobs of subbing out, but I earn the majority of my money from obviously doing the jobs myself. So I needed to get back on the road. I couldn't afford another few, well, I couldn't afford more time off while we try and find an actuator off an older van, well, a van that's being stripped for parts or something like that, and take that sort of risk. And I didn't want to drop the money on a turbo, unfortunately. It's something I don't want to do, but I might have to do eventually. So if you do have an actuator for a 2018 plus Volkswagen Crafter 2 litre diesel, let me know. I'll buy it off you because I need one. And then I can finally fix my van. But hey ho, it's getting me around, and it is slightly working. Yes, it's very frustrating that it's been off the road for 10 days and it's not fixed, but hey, there's nothing we can do about it for the time being. Right, let's talk about something else. So whilst I've been off the road, I've been having to sub out a lot of jobs. For instance, yesterday we had 11 jobs and 11 vans on the road. Today we had 8. Tomorrow we've got a few. Even though on Saturday we've got 2, I believe, maybe 3. So I've had to be relying on the WhatsApp group, on the YouTube lads, and on the exchange subbing jobs out. So I thought I'll go on the exchange and go through the jobs that I've sold in the last month or so and work out an average price that I've paid for each van type, the ones that I use the most anyway. So that's small van, long wheelbase, Luton, box and a Luton curtain. I've worked out the average over the last 10 jobs for each of them vans, and then I thought, why don't I compare it to the jobs that I sold in 2021 when I first joined. Let's have a comparison between them both. So small van 2024, the last month or so, 93 pence per mile is the average I've sold a small van job for. Now that is actually an increase from 2021. Everyone keeps saying the prices aren't changing, they're not going up, but that's not the way I'm seeing it, it would seem. I'm seeing actually a price increase. So small van in 2021, my average was 76p a mile. So it's gone from 76 to 93. Yeah, it's not quite at that pound a mile mark yet. These, by the way, were all over 100-mile jobs. I didn't put any short jobs in there because that would have obviously bumped the price up. If you're doing a couple of mile job, it can be £10 a mile, but you know what I mean. So next of all is a long wheelbase. So the average for 2024 for long wheelbase is 131, which I thought was quite good. It's not a bad rate, to be fair, and I hear a lot of people say they struggle to get that sort of money, like struggle to get over 120 really, but my average that I've been paying people is 131. Now, back in 2021, it was a bit lower, it was 103, so £1.03 a mile. So it's gone up by 28p a mile, which I don't think is too bad. It's slightly more than the increase as well on the small van, so I think that's pretty decent. I would also like to point out briefly, just in the middle of this, when I try and get a job on the exchange, I can't get these sort of figures. This is just what I'm selling jobs for. So whether I'm too generous or I just get a lot of people quoting high on my jobs, I don't know, but this is what I'm paying. Now, Luton box went the opposite way. So obviously I run a Luton box now instead of a long wheelbase, and that's mainly because of my customer work. Things were getting bulkier and bigger but not massively heavier, so I could take the decreasing weight on getting the Luton box, but it also got the equipment into the van, whereas previously I'd need to sub it out or have two vans running. My 2024 average is 142 per loaded mile, but back in 2021 I was actually paying 166, so the price has decreased by 24 pence a mile on the Luton boxes, which I found to be quite a shock because I thought they got paid a decent rate anyway, but turns out I'm wrong. But here's the kicker: if you've got a Luton box, maybe you should convert it to a curtain, because my average spend for Luton curtain sides in 2024 has been 185. So that is 43p a mile more than a box Luton. Basically the same van, but with a curtain side. So that is definitely something you should consider. That is quite a big jump. So over many miles as well, that would be quite a lot of extra money. I was quite surprised when I saw that figure, to be honest, because that is a fair whack. Unfortunately, back in 2021, I didn't even use curtain sides. I just used boxes because we didn't need them. I didn't need curtain sides realistically. So I don't have a comparison for you on that one, but I'm assuming it would have gone up with it now being at 185. I can't see it being any more than that previously. So there's two other things that I'd like to talk about, and they're both involving one application. It's the Courierexchange. And it's things that have come across my screen and I just want your opinion on them. And if you knew about them, to be fair. So first of all is SmartPay. So we've all been mithered to join SmartPay. I get an email every few days getting me to try and get me to join. And to be honest, I considered it at one point because I thought, you know what, it might just be that little bit easier. It just send them the money, they can sort out paying everyone individually. The other day I had to sit down and pay 60 odd people. To be fair, it only took me half an hour, if that, so it wasn't too bad. But still, might have been easier. And then, in one of the WhatsApp groups, an email got put in from the exchange to one of the members. This member is a freight forwarder, basically. They don't have any of their own vehicles, they just sub out a lot of work. I don't know him quite well. And he put in an email that he'd received. He signed up for Smart Pay. He didn't want to start paying everyone until everybody that he used had signed up as well. So, first payment run came, and he paid everyone normally without using it. So the email is saying, oh, we can help you set it up, why have you not used it, etc. And in the email, it mentioned a payment that nobody knows about. I haven't seen anything about it. I've read their emails. I've read the instructions they've put online of how it works. And I haven't seen this until now. For each payment they make on your behalf to the driver after you send them money, they charge you. It's only 50p, but 50p starts to add up if you've got a lot of people to pay. So say you've got, like I did the other day, you got 50 people to pay, 60 people to pay. That adds up, it's 25, 30 quid. Yeah, it only start, you're thinking, oh, it's only 25, 30 quid. But then that's every week you could be doing that. If you've got people on certain terms, or 30 days from invoice, it could be every couple of days you're doing that. And then it starts to add up. You could be paying hundreds of pounds a month. Plus, the bigger companies have accounting departments who get it all set up as soon as the invoice comes in and stuff like that. So they already have people working on it. So why would you then change that system and pay somebody else to do it as well? Doesn't really make any sense to me, and it has really put me off using the Smart Pay system, because it's just, they've already increased everyone's membership prices. They're already charging people quite a lot of money, but now they want to charge people more for something they thought and quite a lot of people don't agree with. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think? Is it a good idea? Were you expecting to have to pay if you want to pay your drivers through that system, if you are a shipper? I don't know. What's your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. Secondly, I saw another copy of an email, a screenshot of an email that had been put up on Facebook. So this was from a company on the exchange who, from reading the email, seemed to have a fair few drivers, and each driver had the ability to quote on their own work through the app. They were explaining that their acceptable usage policy no longer allows this. So if you don't know, if you want to add more apps to your account, as long as you've got a big enough account, it's £9.99 a month. And you could switch on in your desktop settings that then people can bid on their own work. But they've decided to change that, so they've capped it to 3. So say you've got 23 drivers, only 3 of them can now bid on work, and the other 20, if they still want the opportunity to bid on work, have to pay a larger fee, and that fee is between £80 and £100 per month instead of £9.99. So consider that you've gone from paying £9.99 a month for 20 drivers, and now you're paying £100 a month for 20 drivers. It's a big increase, and from what I've seen, people seem to think it's their way of cutting through and getting rid of the syndicates. But me personally, I think the syndicates are the people that have single accounts and are screenshotting jobs. They're taking 4 or 5 jobs at a time when they've only got 1 van on their account, and they're sending it to their friends who are in vans that are uninsured. That's definitely how it seems to me. There is plenty of them out there, but this seems to be attacking actual courier companies that want to have an easy life and let the drivers pick their own work. For instance, myself, if I wanted to get 5 vans tomorrow, 2 of them, or 3 of them, wouldn't be able to quote on the work. I'd have to quote on it and send them the work. And to me, that's more work for me, and I'd rather them just do it themselves. So if you've got 20 drivers, you're either going to have to fork out £100 per person per month to let them be able to get their own work, like they've been doing for however long they've been on the exchange doing their work, or you're going to have to employ someone to sit in an office, getting everyone work, distributing it out to them, making sure they're doing it, getting the PODs back off them to put on the system, etc, etc. It just sounds like an attack on the wrong people, and it sounds like a lot of money that they're trying to make off bigger companies that run a lot of vans, and it's going to change things for a lot of companies. I personally know a company that run 30 vans, and every driver has the ability to bid on their own work, and if this is what I've seen is being dished out to everyone, it's going to hit them hard than having to be in control of every driver or ask every driver to pay £100 a month to have that ability to do it, because they won't do it as a company. I don't think. It seems excessive. What are your thoughts? Do you think it is a bit excessive? Do you think it's their way of getting the syndicates out of the exchange? Do you think it's their way of trying to get everyone to have their own individual app and pay the £2,300 it is now to join? Or do you think they're trying to get an extra £1,200 a year per person that uses other people's apps? I know prices of everything's gone up, but it seems like a big increase, if you're asking me. And that is all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.